Christos Anesti. This single phrase that we say in the church, Christ is risen, is the hinge on which all our faith depends. For many came before saying that they were the Messiah, as Christ specifically says, and many would come afterwards saying that they were also the Messiah. But knowing that Christ rose from the dead puts us in a different state of mind, a state of mind of believing, a state of mind of following, a state of mind of being faithful, and not being confused, not being sad. As Christ says, the sadness now is turned to joy, and the place of death, has now become the source of life. If you think about the symbols in our church, the two symbols that we have that are indicative of death in a secular mind, if you look at the altar table itself, it represents a tomb. And as we had the kavuklion, as we have it in the back of the church, and we had it up in the front for the Great and Holy Friday services, the tomb of death had become the source of life. Likewise, the cross was a symbol of extraordinary death, of evil, of trauma, of suffering, and now has become the source of protection, the source of life in itself. So God himself has taken these sources of fear and these symbols of death and has turned it into life. And as you know, is what rhymes with orthodox is paradox. And many times in our church, we understand the paradoxes of the church. Lose your life and you will gain it. If you seek to grab onto your life in this world, you'll lose it. The greatest among you must be the servant. These are all paradoxes. And we look at the cross and we look at the tomb, and again, we see that the place of death has become the source of life. The hanging on the tree, the cross, has now become the symbol of victory. The week that we celebrated for Holy Week is that walk with Christ through his passion and that continued expression of our love for him in following in his footsteps and feeling the beauty of the Orthodox Church. I know that at many places and many churches throughout the world, they become full and everyone reconnects with God at this specific time of the year. And why is that? Is because the Orthodox Church has such a beautiful way of stating the services, a beautiful way of expressing the life of Christ, the life of the Virgin Mary, the lives of the saints, the presence of the angels, the administration of the holy sacraments to the faithful. And in that, we long for that. And we all long for that tradition, that core of faith and that truth that comes through the church. The world offers us nothing. It may offer us a job for money. It may offer us a home that is temporary. It may offer us titles and glory and riches that come and go. But the church itself offers us something that we can't get anywhere else. And I know that you're here tonight because you know that, because you know what the church offers. And I pray that you continue to have the feeling and that joy of singing Christos Anesti and the joy of saying that those two symbols of death have now become the greatest signs of victory. In every Orthodox church that you go to, you will look up at the royal doors. You won't notice today because it's the Paschal period, But when the royal doors are open, you see two things. You see the altar table and you see the cross, no matter what Orthodox church you go to. The tomb and the source of pain, and now it has become the source of life and the sign of victory. The fathers of the church write specifically many times about making the sign of the cross in times of fear, in times of sadness, in times of prayer, and to cross ourselves. And actually, St. Macrina over here, I just happen to have a really bright flashlight in my pocket. Right there, St. Macrina in the purple, used to cross herself on her head, her mouth, her eyes. Every time there was temptation or bad thoughts, she would just make the sign of the cross over her eyes or her mouth or whatever, as a sign of protection. Saint Justina, the same thing. Many of the fathers of the church. In fact, Saint Paisios, the new saint in our church, Saint Paisios of Athos, had a man who came and tried to do magic and was moving things around. And he was doing this sorcery, and Saint Paisios said, okay, the man said, well, what do you think of that? And Saint Paisios says, okay, I want you to do it one more time, but hold on one second. And he goes up and he makes the sign of the cross on the rock, and the man was unable to move it. And then the man was tortured after that by the demons. However, God bless you. And I mean that. The sign of the cross is something extraordinary for us. So as you go home, like I've said over and over, what we bring into our home is completely up to us. What we keep out of our home is also completely up to us. But as you go home and as you struggle outside to bring your candles in your car, when you go into your home, don't just walk into your home and put it down. I know that some of you make the sign of the cross over in the doorway, and that's a good tradition to do. But what I want you to do is take the light through your home and walk through your home with your Easter light and sing Christos Anesti. And bring that light to the places maybe that your kids are scared of in your home, or maybe that you have a difficult time going into because you've lost someone who used to be in that particular bedroom or in your home, or you're having difficulties sleeping or eating or sitting or whatever the case is. Walk the light through your home and sing Christ is risen, because there is nothing that can go against that. Nothing that can come against the presence of Christ, and to bring and to ask Christ to come with us home and to be with us in our homes always, and to leave the lights burning in our homes. If you don't have a candle, a 7-day candle, I recommend that you get one on your way out. I'm sure there's plenty in the back. Get a 7-day candle, transfer your light into the 7-day candle, and challenge yourself, see if you can keep the Easter light in your home for 40 days. Because it will take a couple things. It will take some care, and it will take some diligence to do that. But when that candle's there and you see it prominently whether it's on your stove, somewhere safe in your home, don't put it somewhere it's not going to be sturdy, but you put it somewhere, keep it out, and as you see it, as you go through your day and you walk past the candle, or you get up in the morning, you walk past the candle, to say Christ is risen and to sing that triumphant hymn, but to not let this fade. Candles don't fade away, they blow out. And it's the same thing with our spirituality, our spiritual lives. We need to keep them flamed. And I ask you to try to keep the holy light in your home for 40 days. As you go home, walk it through your home. I know you probably want to walk it through your home with a hamburger in one hand, singing, but just wait another couple seconds, you'll be fine. Trust me. And if you've fasted for 40 days, go easy on reintroducing yourself to meat, because you'll understand why that is later. But I remember to keep this light and this love of God, that where there is light, there is no darkness. And this icon of Christ right here on the front of right here. This icon says he's the life giver. But many times in that icon as well, he's also called the light giver. That he is the one who gives the light. He is the light. So may that light continue to shine in your homes, in your hands, but most of all in your hearts. I want to thank all of you for being here and for staying. I know that it's very tempting to leave, but I thank you for not only staying, but receiving Holy Communion to prepare. I thank the parents for struggling to have their kids here, and I know there's some kids laid out flat in the altar, and there's some laid out flat in the pews, but you're here, and that's a wonderful thing, and I thank you for that, and for all of your attendance throughout this great and holy week. May God continue to strengthen you and to bless you, and now you are, for those who are here, you're completely official, okay? You can go and eat, enjoy yourselves, have a beautiful Paschal season, and may God continue to strengthen each and every one of you. Christ is risen.